We are back with you live on WSK.it as we get ready for the KF final. What a great sight this is here at one of the world's great race circuits. This is Il Circuito Internazionale Napoli, the Naples International Circuit. So we just get our breath back after a sensational 60cc mini final. This man on screen now once lived within walking distance to this circuit. He now lives in Sarno. He is a factory team professional racing driver for the CRG team. He won the pre-final in pretty spectacular fashion. He led home a trail of OTK karts, be it Tony kart, Alonso kart, Cosmic karts. He left them in his wake. He won by 3.5 seconds. The CRG pilot, Felicitiene, will start on pole position for this final, which will be over 15 laps. A lot of eyes on this boy. Number 201 from Denmark, Nicholas Nielsen. Factory Tony kart driver, 2015. Outside of the front row, though, it's his teammate. All the way from Christchurch in New Zealand. We know it's very, very late at night in NZ. That's him on screen. Your boy starts out of grid number 2 after a storming drive in the pre-final. Marcus Armstrong, number 202, factory Tony kart pilot. He came second at the Winter Cup earlier in the year. He's out of contention for the series itself, but he dearly loved to stand on the top step of the podium here this afternoon, and he may just do it. He's got sensational speed in that Tony kart. That's Leonardo Lorandi for Team Baby Race. Older brother Alessio now racing in the European Formula 3 series. Former junior world champion was his brother. Leonardo starts on the second row of the grid alongside Nielsen. Third row of the grid is all Eastern European because that boy, Alexander Vartanyan, is from Russia. He's alongside the Romanian Marco Dionysis. They are both in Vortex-powered Tony karts. Vartanyan had sensational speed in the third heat yesterday. Vartanyan out of 5 alongside Dionysis. That's him on screen from Bucharest in Romania, driving for the Ward Racing team, as is, coincidentally, Alexander Vartanyan. Eyes of Steel has Marco. The fourth row of the grid is the Dane Casper Rose. They really are prolific, these Danish drivers. Rose will start alongside Richard Verschoor from the Netherlands. He's in a CRG. So we've got a CRG on pole, a CRG on grid 8. Every other kart in between is manufactured by OTK, be it Tony kart, Cosmic, or Esprit. That's what Richard Verschoor is driving for Team RB Racing. He's already been on the podium in 2015. The Vega Tyres flag picks up in the background. The wind really is picking up here. So we look at the Estonian Yuri Vips, former winner of the Rotax World Final in juniors, as it happens. He's now stepped up the big step, in fact, to the World Championship KF class. I don't mean that with any disrespect, but the competition level here is absolutely astonishing. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, between these front KF drivers. Yuri Vips is driving for Ricky Flynn Motorsport, the team that has dominated World Karting, beating the factory teams over the past 12 or 18 months. There's another RFM driver, Casper Rose. Also from Denmark. Just a few moments away from these 125cc engines firing into life. The mechanics will be instructed to leave the circuit in a few moments' time. Marcus Armstrong being wished luck. And he'll certainly need it to beat this man, Felicitiene. He was on the podium just 7 days ago at this very circuit. I'm sorry, this is Martin van Leuven we're looking at. Just going back to Tiene. He was on the podium 7 days ago, racing KZ2, the opening round of the European Gearbox Championship. Martin van Leuven is alongside Yuri Vips. Sixth row of the grid is the former world champion, Tom Joyner. He is alongside Carol Bash, who got belted on the final lap of the pre-final. The Cosmic Kart pilot starts out of grid number 12. The grid girls leave the track with thanks to Vega Tyres at the top of World Karting, an official tyre supplier to WSK Promotion. Yes, they've been at the top of World Karting way back since 1980. 35 years of World Championship karting competition. 26 karts to take the green in a few moments' time. 1 minute board goes up. This is going to be an absolutely sensational race. It is 25 kilometres, 15 laps of this 1,699 metre circuit. Watch out for the start from Armstrong. He'll have the run, albeit on the outside of the grid, as Mr. Marco Carlino displays the 30-second board. Way back on the last row of the grid, Mario Martucci in the 254 Zanardi kart with a lot of work to do. Just ahead of him is Matteo Vigano in the top kart. DNF in the pre-final. That's Armstrong ahead of Lorandi. The green flag flies. The 125cc engines fire into life. For the most part, at least. It looks as though Marco Dionysis is stranded on the grid, as is Carol Bash. Dionysis' kart engine has fired. Carol Bash also has now. They've both managed to get going. They are at the back of the field. They'll have to work their way through to catch up. Felicitiene from Italy starts alongside the New Zealand driver Marcus Armstrong. Then it's Nielsen Lorandi, Vartanyan, Marco Dionysis. Casper Rose is alongside Richard Verschoor, the Dutchman Martin van Leuven alongside the Estonian Yuri Vips. On the sixth row of the grid is Tom Joyner with Carol Bash. Then we have the American Juan Correa. Hi to our friends watching in the United States. He is alongside Jessica Backman from Sweden. Then it's Rokas Pachuska, Benjamin Lessen, Marco Maestranzi, Jacopo Geno, Archie Tillett from England alongside Aldo Festante. Yet another Dane, Nikolai Kagard alongside Lachlan Lukes, Matteo Vigano, who we just mentioned, Lorenzo Travisanuto, who's had some great pace throughout the WSK Supermaster Series, way back on the 12th row of the grid. And on the very last row, Petro Hilbrand from Spain, and Mario Martucci, who we saw just a few moments ago. 2 formation laps as Felicitiene lowers the blind on that radiator, trying to get maximum airflow into that Perilla 125cc engine. This is going to be an absolutely cracking race. The Italian versus the Kiwi. Watch out for Nielsen. As we mentioned, Vartanyan had some sensational pace in the third heat yesterday. Everybody was watching him, but he only finished 5th. Only. That was still an outstanding effort. Marco Dionysis is at the back of the field, just flashing through at the top of your screen, desperately trying to make up the tail. We're looking good for a start. This is the final corner of the race. Felicitiani has slowed the field up. Marcus Armstrong saying, where are you? Come on, let's get on with it. Anyone who's ever seen the All Blacks play knows that a Kiwi will not be intimidated, but I think he's going to miss the start. Oh no, this is a tragedy. One more formation lap. Whoa, that was really controversial. Felicitiani, who's got more experience than anybody else on the grid, just back the field up a little bit. He's entitled to do that. He's starting on pole position. I can tell you what that has done, that extra formation lap, that's allowed Marco Dionysis to catch up to the rest of the field. Marcus Armstrong, though, he's in about 8th or 9th position. He's not on screen at the moment. He'll have to fight his way back into his grid spot. There he is with the orange helmet. Easy to pick out is the young Kiwi. Felicitiani, he's really smart. He's really cool. He can set the pace. He's the pole sitter. Leonardo Lorandi, eager to get on with it. Felicitiani says, not before I say so, mate. There's Armstrong. He will rejoin without any sort of issue. You think that won't fire up the Kiwi? As I said, anyone who's ever seen the All Blacks play knows that New Zealanders cannot be intimidated. Felicitiani versus Marcus Armstrong, the front row of the grid, the final round of the WSK Supermaster Series. Oh, they touch! Tierney and Armstrong have run into each other. We go green though. It is Tierney. Armstrong has missed the start. He's back in 6th position as they race through turn 1. Lorenzo Travisonuto at the tail of the field trying to make up places. Nicholas Nielsen adjusts the carburetor on that Vortex engine. He's in position number 2. Whoa, that was a brilliant start by Felicitiani. We've lost one at the back of the field. Looks as though it might have been one of the Zanardi kart pilots. Felicitiani, he leads from pole position. Very clever start, you got to say. You got to hand it to him. Nicholas Nielsen is in 2nd spot. Then it's a Russian, Alexander Vartanyan. They go down the Vega tyres back straight for the first time. No change in position at the moment. One of the RFM karts up there also. All in identical livery. Looks as though it's the Dane, in fact, Casper Rose, the number 228 kart. So we've got an Italian leading a Dane, a Russian, then another driver from Denmark. They come around the final corner. This is the first of 15 laps. The problem Felicitiani is going to have right now is every other driver is going to be in his slipstream, including Nicholas Nielsen in 2nd spot. Vartanyan, who sits low in the kart as it is. Nielsen blocks it off. Casper Rose tries the outside line. Gets good traction out of that turn. Martin van Leuven, a great start by the Dutchman. There he is in position number 5. Marcus Armstrong, he's in 7th. There he is with the orange helmet. One behind Carol Bash, who's made a brilliant start to be in position number 6. Down the Vega tyres, back straight. Felicitiani still holds off Nielsen. Vartanyan. They're starting to bunch up a bit. Here comes Nielsen. Here comes Nielsen. Not this time, says Felice. Vartanyan. Rose. The Danish driver is on the back of the Russian. That is Rose on the back of Vartanyan. Felicitiani into the final corner. He continues to lead. The gap is insignificant. You can see Nielsen is right on his tail. He's now in the slipstream. That was Yuri Vips, the Estonian, going through. Just ahead of Armstrong and Maestranzi. Still no change in position except for right there. Carol Bash goes up on Martin van Leuven. That's the scene at the far end of the Sarno circuit. It is a CRG leading 2 Tony karts and an Alonso kart. Then the Cosmic. Martin van Leuven in the 2nd CRG kart. Desperately trying to work his way up through the field to try and give some assistance of sorts to Felicitiani, who again looks over his shoulder. He's got the Perilla powered. The drivers behind him pretty much all got the Vortex on. Till we go back to Van Leuven, who is powered by TM. There's Bash in position number 5, the pole for the Cosmic Racing Department. into the final turn. This is the end of the third lap. The gap, 0.12 of a second last time round. 0.12 of a second this time round. Nothing in it. As Martin van Leuven in the 209 CRG goes flying through turn one. 129 k's an hour right there. Probably more for Nielsen because he's got the slipstream. Vartani gets a slipstream because he sits so low in that kart, does the young Russian. Carol Bash in fifth. Now on the back of Kasper Roos from Copenhagen in Denmark. Driving for Ricky Flynn Motorsport, the team that, as we mentioned, won the World Senior and Junior Championships in 2014. Vartanian has a big look on the inside of Nielsen, but in doing that, he's left himself a little bit exposed to Rose. Here comes Carol Bash. The pole is now up into position number 4. Marcus Armstrong has slipped back to 8th. He's been passed by Yuri Vips. Well, he will be absolutely livid with himself. He actually touched with Felicitieni in the final corner. He's caught in a battle between Vips, Maestranzi and Vigano. Benjamin Lessin, the Belgian. There's Lorenzo Travisanuto going through. Leonardo Lorandi has lost a stack of time. He's down in position number 13. Bash now up into 3rd. Wow, this is sensational driving by the driver from Poland. Carol Bash, he's come from a long way back on the grid. Remember, he had that incident in the final lap of the pre-final. Started out at 12. He's in position number 3. Let's have a look at the replay. There's Bash. While we were watching the leaders, Carol Bash says, I'll take 3rd position. The Russian Alexander Vartanian could not respond. You can see there at the bottom of your screen why he's on the charge, because he has to chase down the driver who is now immediately in front of him, the Dane Nicholas Nielsen, to win the title for 2015. The RFM Motorsport karts go through. Armstrong now with a little bit of a gap in front of him, desperately trying to make up the time he lost at the start of the race. Jessica Backman from Sweden driving for Cosmic Kart goes through. Big look over the shoulder that time from Nielsen. It's a big gap back to 3rd. Carol Bash. Vartanian now back up into 4th spot. Goes past the Dane, Kasper Rose. This is 1/3 race distance, the final round of the WSK Supermaster Series for 2015. Nielsen is starting to mow down Felicitieni. The gap is 0.3 of a second, but then it's 1.3 seconds. You can see it's about 60 or 70 meters back to Bash. Nielsen in 2nd, right there. He leads the series. Tieni realistically cannot win the WSK Supermaster Series for 2015. It's Nielsen in 2nd versus Bash in 3rd for the title. Alexander Vartanian still sits right behind the pole. Lorandi sits in 3rd in the series as they come across the line in the shadow of Mount Vesuvius in the background. This is the 6th of 15 laps. It's a 25-kilometre final. Felicitieni, this is a brilliant drive. He's actually starting to pull away a little bit now. It's almost out to half a second as he gets a little bit sideways over the ripple strip there. Just lets the CRG drive itself. Of course, as we mentioned, he was on the podium 1 week ago, driving in the KZ2 gearbox class, the opening round of the European Championship. He's got the World Championship in his eyes. That's what he's aiming for later this year, but he's looking at a WSK Supermaster Series round win if he can hold on for another 8.5 laps. Nicholas Nielsen, the Dane, no relation to the former Le Mans winner, also from Denmark, John Nielsen. I still don't quite believe him on that. Denmark's not a big country, he assures us though. But Nielsen is a common surname in Denmark, as common as Smith, or Jones, or Nielsen. Nicholas in 2nd spot. The gap now down to 0.3 of a second. There's Travisanuto going through. Richard Verschaw, a long way back in the field, the number 210 RB Racing Esprit kart. Bash has lost 3rd position to the Russian Vartanian. Fastest lap though, Nicholas Nielsen. We saw him take 0.2 of a second out of our race leader the last time round. And in doing so, he took the fastest lap of the race. Armstrong, you can see, has made up some time. He's in position number 5. 2 more places to step on the podium for the young Kiwi. Wow, where would Marcus have been had he have got a good start? He absolutely got slaughtered into turn 1, was back into 8th. He's now back up into 5th spot with clean air in front of him, trying to chase down Vartanyan and Bash, and he's got time to do it. Nielsen's got plenty of time to catch the leader and make a pass, but whether he's got the speed is another thing. The gap last time was 0.358 of a second. 0.37 now, so virtually identical as Carol Bash goes through position number 4. Armstrong is 1.2 seconds behind the pole. Just flashing through there with the bright orange helmet. Tom Joyner not having a good run. The former world champion is down in position number 15 behind Lorenzo Travisanuto. Marco Maestranzi has made up 4 places. He's trying to chase down the young Swede, Jessica Backman. She's made up 2 places herself and is now knocking on the door of a top 10 finish is young Jessica. Juan Correa, though, the American, way down in position number 17, fighting off the challenge of Richard Verschoor. It's not a bad result in terms of competitiveness because the field is so tight, but position 17 is not something that you want to tell anything about. No disrespect, but the top level of KF World Karting, be assured, it's really tight. Archie Tillett and Richard Verschoor looks like just had a coming together. I'm sorry, Nicholas Kagard and Verschoor just having a coming together. There's our leaders. The gap is still 0.38 of a second. Now the Russian starts to show some speed. This is what we saw out of him in Heat 3 yesterday. Fastest lap of the race for Alexander Vartanyan. Tiene for the factory CRG team. Nielsen, the factory Tony Kart team. Vartanyan for Ward Racing out of Sweden. Down the Vega tyres, back straight. This is lap number 10 that they are on right now. Felicitiani, this is a gutsy drive. Very clever start. You've got to hand it to him there. Perfectly legal. He leads down into turn 1. There's Vartanyan, Bash, Armstrong. Then it's Vips, Matteo Vigono in the top cart. Lorandi down position number 8. Marco Dionysis goes through, 1 ahead of Jessica Backman. Field starting to spread out from 3rd back, but there's still a big fight on to take the final round of the WSK Supermaster Series. And Nielsen, potentially the title. There's the points on the screen. You can see Felicitiene would really need Bash and Nielsen not to finish this race, but they sit in 2nd and 3rd right behind him. Vartanyan with a very remote chance also. Then Leonardo Lorandi, but he's down in position number 8. In through the infield, the gap still 0.38, 0.39 of a second. You can see it on your screen. He's just close enough to get a slipstream as they go through turn 1. Up the back straight now. There's Bash, position number 4 and off the podium. He won't take the title unless something happens to Nielsen. And you might think that's very unlikely, but let's remember the last round at La Conca, Nielsen was leading, similar sort of race to this, and he had an ignition fail of all things. The simplest little thing that can happen to anybody. He probably would have had the series in the bag by now. He's now having to fight with Felicitiani, the CRG pilot, to take the title. You just saw a brief glimpse of the stranded CRG kart of Petro Hiltbrand. He's out of the race, as is Benjamin Lesen and Mario Martucci. 4 laps to go at the end of this one. Felicitiani has not made a mistake so far. I think he's pulled out a bit of a gap this time. 0.38 of a second last time. Let's check the times for you. 0.46. Wow, Felice Tieni's pulling away from the Dane. Carol Bash, very ragged outside of turn one. Nielsen, there's no one behind you really that can challenge. Vartanyan's desperately trying his best. He puts in another fastest lap of the race. There's Bash, throws that cosmic cart over the ripple strips. Felice Tieni, though, is he on track for a series round win? The final round, additional points on offer. Remember, for this, the fourth and final round of the 2015 series. Only a mistake surely would cost Felice Tieni the race win. Nielsen closes up under brakes. Remember, hand-operated front wheel discs on all these carts. They stop on a 10-cent piece. Absolutely phenomenal braking ability. They barely use it through that corner, though. Don't want to wash off too much speed. So they come down the start-finish straight. Throw it sideways into turn one. There goes Vartanyan for Ward Racing from Russia. Bash uses every bit of the racetrack and then some. The gap is 0.52 of a second, and Vartanyan is closing on Nielsen. There's Armstrong. There's Vips, the Ricky Flynn Motorsport driver. One ahead of Matteo Vigano, Martin van Leuven, Leonardo Lorandi, and Marco Dionysis has clawed his way back into the top 10. The field has strung out just a little bit. Felice Tieni, a look over the shoulder. Nielsen's right there. If anything, he's closed up a little bit this time. Vartanyan is definitely catching Nielsen. They're coming around to get the last lap board now. Felice Tieni, the gap is 0.4 of a second, so he's catching him. Nielsen is catching him. He's got 1,622 meters, 99 meters, to catch him. They've already gone down the back straight. Vartanyan in third, catching Nielsen. There's Bash. Marcus Armstrong in position number 5, head of Yuri Vips. Nielsen getting really close to the back of Felice Tieni. Will he have enough time? The CRG versus the Tony Kart, the final round of the Supermaster Series. One of the last passing opportunities coming up at the end of the Vega tyres back straight. Felice Tieni, you saw that coming. He looked behind into the paddock hairpin. Vartanyan is right on the back of Nielsen now. A big look over the shoulder from Felice Tieni. I think he's going to do it. I don't think Nicholas Nielsen is close enough to make a move, and he doesn't need to claim the series title. The final corner coming up for the Italian in the CRG. The checkered flag goes to the CRG driver, Felice Tieni. He wins. What a brilliant, brilliant drive by the CRG pilot. Nielsen was second from Vartanyan. Bash, Armstrong was fifth. Head of Yuri Vips, Matteo Vigano, Leonardo Lorandi, Kasparuz, and Marco Dionysis rounding out the top 10. But unofficially, the series winner is Nicholas Nielsen, WSK Supermaster Series champion for 2015. It wasn't the closest race at the end, but it certainly was very, very tense. I think Felice Tieni that time just outsmarted every other driver. Not only has he taken the win for CRG, but he's broken the Vortex dominance. He's powered by a Perilla engine. The karts make their way back to Parc Fermé. Wow, that was absolutely sensational. We're getting ready for the podium presentation. There's the unofficial results. Felice Tieni from Nielsen, Vartanyan, Bash, Armstrong recovers for fifth. Yuri Vips was sixth, head of Vigano, Lorandi. Jessica Backman just outside the top 10. A good drive from Jessica to come home 11th. Lorenzo Travisanuto, he finished 12th, but he came from the back of the grid in doing so. Petro Hildebrand, non-starter. Well, brilliant drive as Felice Tieni makes his way into Parc Ferme. This is where he won the race. A brilliant start. He was looking behind him when the 4 red lights went out. Marcus Armstrong got belted off the start. He will not be happy with that. The Kiwi did recover for 5th place. The race was on between Rose, Bash, Vartanyan. They would fight amongst themselves as Tiene and Nielsen fought for 1 and 2. Possibly we could say in hindsight that Nielsen just needed to finish, wasn't so concerned about the race win as the series win, which he's unofficially done. Felice Tieni though, brilliant drive. He's delighted. As we said, he used to live within walking distance to the circuit. Effectively his hometown. He's won, and there at the bottom of your screen, the 2015 Super Master Series champion, Nicholas Nielsen. Stay with us on WSK.IT. The podium presentations coming your way in just a few moments. We're about to get underway with the official podium presentations. We're a little bit delayed because Nicholas Nielsen, the series winner, is being congratulated by everyone. He didn't win here the final round, but he is delighted. Be underway with you in just a few moments. The drivers put on the Vega caps. They're pretty exhausted. It's starting to get a little bit warm here at Sarno. Cominciamo tra poco con il premiazione per Senior KF, l'ultima prova per la WSK Super Master Series, the final round of the WSK Super Master Series. So the drivers get themselves together. In third place, we'd like to call to the podium, all the way from Russia for Ward Racing, let's hear it for Alexander Vartanyan. In second place today, but the series winner, we'll get to that in a few moments, from Denmark, Niklas Nielsen. The winner, the final round of the WSK Supermaster Series. Let's hear it for Felicitiene. The trophy for the third place driver to Alexander Vartanyan. Second place, Niklas Nielsen. And the winner, ancora di nuovo per Felicitiene. For the second time today, we will hear the national anthem of Italy. Your podium, the final round of the WSK Supermaster Series for Senior KF. We'll move in here for a quick word with the Russian Alexander Vartanyan. Fantastic speed, third place, a good result. Okay. Thank you, Alexander Vartanyan, third place. Niklas Nielsen, second today, but you are the series winner for 2015. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the team, and yeah, this is what we worked for all the season. I mean, not just to win this championship, but I mean to be in the top of all the championships. So yeah, very happy with the rest of today result. Yeah, it was a hard final with Felice in the front. Tried to keep up with him, he was just a bit faster. So yeah, congratulations to him. Thank you.
Well done, Niklas Nielsen. And the winner today, Felice, that was a super intelligent, a very strong drive. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, beginning I was a bit struggling, but I knew that after a few laps everything will come and I will be fast enough to win. So I want to thank so much all my team and my engineering and my engine tuning for giving me this perfect chassis and an unbelievable engine.
Bravo, Felice. Our podium for the Senior KF class, the final round of the WSK Supermaster Series.